Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Irrelevant, and welcome back to Mr. Relevant Plays. Now, today I am revisiting the Inquiry Battlecruiser, aka the promo Battlecruiser of the Avenger that they added in the game. When did they add this? I am never prepared for these things. They added this ship in towards the end of 2020, September 8th to be exact. And I remember when they added it to the game, I was like, I need to have it. So yeah, I did kind of go out of my way to get it. Do I regret it now that the legendary one is out? No, I honestly don't regret it. Is the legendary one better than this one? Well, honestly, I really don't know the answer to that question. I mean, I've compared the two before. If you haven't seen that video, I do recommend watching it because I did compare the two, saying that you really don't need to get this one. But the question is, which one actually is technically the better one? Well, I really don't know. But today we're not talking about that because I already did that once. So today we're just going to talk about the Inquiry itself, the promo version, and only discuss the promo version and really do a full breakdown on it. So with this ship, it is a 5-3, just like it always has been. But the console layout, this is a Miracle Worker primary, so it does start with the extra console slot already, but when you X to it, you get 2 more. And then you also get 2 extra device slots, so its base only has 3. Has 5 engineering slots, 2 science slots, and 4 tactical. So either way, if you go the isomag route, you're going to have plenty of room to play with. If you go the tactical route, you'll still have plenty of room to play with. So if you are still trying to build up your character, do not worry. You'll have plenty of routes you can go, whether tactical console or engineering console. Heck, if you really wanted to, you can go science. You have 2 science slots depending on, what universal consoles you're running. But I digress. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and just continue to break down the Inquiry Battlecruiser itself. I personally do want to talk about the design of it as well. Just primarily because I haven't really talked about too many ship designs, but this one I do generally like. The deflector is very unique, and I personally do like it. A lot of people don't. I do because it literally shows that this ship literally is serving one purpose. And one purpose only, and that is to fight. No other purpose. The ship is designed for war, and even though we only got to see the Inquiry really once in Modern Trek, we saw a lot of them in one single scene, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So with this setup, obviously I'm still doing my standard Uncon build, with my standard drivetrain, the Colony Deflector, the competitive engines, the Tholian event Warp Core, the Khitomer Alliance event shields. I'm running a full Agony phaser setup minus the Omni Beam because I don't have it. The Agony Torpedo event, the Event Torpedo, which is the only phaser-based damage torpedo in the game, I think. I could be wrong. Do not quote me on that. It's just been a while since I've actually really looked at all the torpedoes because I don't really look at torpedoes that often. For my other Omni Beams, I am running the Gamma Reputation Omni Beam because at tier 6, with that reputation, you gain a 2% bonus all damage ship-wide, which is huge. And when you add that to the Kinetic Cunning Beam as well, which is if you're my 3rd Omni, you gain another 2%, so it's 4% total bonus all damage ship-wide. Yes, I could do more with phasers to get more, like for example, actually, why don't I do that? The Terran phaser. Terran Reputation phaser. Why did I not do that? It's Terran. It counts. So that's an additional 2% bonus on damage. So I'm getting 6%, which is awesome. I could also technically run the Terran Rep Torp. I really wanted to, but the Agony Phaser Torpedo just kind of hits all the places in the right spot. Now, just like I stated before in my previous video with the Terran Cygnus, I'm going to do a full breakdown on all the consoles I'm running, where to get them, and everything else. So let's just go ahead and go straight to the full breakdown of the ship itself still, before I get to the consoles and everything and the traits and whatnot. For its mastery, you are gaining a physical and kinetic damage resistance rating by 25. You are gaining a critical severity buff by 15%. You are also gaining a enhanced hull plating, which is energy and radiation damage resistance by 25%, but not 25%, sorry, just straight flat plus 25. And then its last mastery is 10% hull regen. Not regen. Oh my gosh, I really cannot brain today. 10% hull capacity, which is actually really huge depending on what you're running, because there are things that scale off of how big your hull is. For its trait, I've never actually used this trait, but emergency power to shields grants secondary shielding and weapon haste. So on emergency power to shields, 20,268.8 secondary shielding for 30 seconds and a 7.1% fire cycle haste for energy weapons. Honestly, this trait is actually pretty good, especially if you are lacking in traits. So let's say you were a new player and you got the promo thing that they did recently, or they gave you the free promo boxes, and you just so happen to open one and get a ship, but you just so happen to claim this ship specifically. I would definitely run that trait, and then run emergency powder shields as well, because that secondary shielding is going to be huge for staying alive, and that fire cycle haste will also be really, really nice because your weapons will shoot faster. So, mastery is pretty solid mastery. It's really good for, surviving, so you definitely have something going for you there. And the trait actually is a pretty good trait. Now, down to the knit and grit of the ship itself. Let me go ahead and pull up the page for it and then bring it onto the screen. And then zoom in like I do before. At level 65, your hull cap will be at 65,250. Of course, that's not including any other buffs that you have that improves your hull modifier. A hull modifier of 1.45, a shield modifier of 1.15. So this is actually really, really good. A turn rate of an 8, which is pretty solid. A impulse modifier of 0.15, inertia at 40, of course, antimatter. Bonus powers to weapons by 15, shields by 5, and engine power by 10. So yeah, this is a really awesome combination. Like I said before, it's 5 weapons in the front, 3 in the back. Console layout I already discussed, but just to refresh: 4 tactical, 5 engineering, 2 science, 1 universal, with only 3 device slots. It's console, which I currently do not have on the ship itself, but it is VADA. I haven't actually... Oh, of course, you can kit bash it with all of the other variants of the Inquiry / Battlecruiser. So the Avenger, the Fleet variant, Arbiter, as long as you have them, as far as I am aware with that one. So VADA. Is this console worth running? Well, I mean, as a new player, why not? Absolutely. Gives you 22.8% flight turn rate and 50% phaser damage. So if you're doing a phaser build like I am currently doing, it will definitely be beneficial for you. And also, phaser is really easy to spec into because there's so much support for it. It's clicky. Phaser cone blast off to frontal shields. Buff to frontal, not buff, well, buff to frontal shields. Certain amount of phaser damage to foes in the forward arc. When taking weapon damage in the forward shield facing, heals 75% of that damage. So, honestly, is this console secretly like an overpowered console that no one talks about? Because there are a lot of those. And apparent... Oh my gosh, there are modes to this console too. What does that even mean? And it's part of a weapon set. I really like that 2-piece. Bonus all weapon damage. That's pretty nice. I wish it was bonus all damage. That'd be even better, but bonus all weapon damage, which means this also busts experimental weapons. And you get that awesome... Oh my gosh. In the 3-piece set? Yo. What do the other consoles do? 5% shield resistance, boost shield regeneration rate by 10%. The clicky, secondary shields, damage absorption. Oh my gosh. That's actually a pretty good survivability console, actually. Sorry, y'all. I know I'm supposed to be breaking down, but like there's some stuff here. This console honestly kind of blows. I've played with it before, but it does have shield penetration. Um, but anywho, yeah, no, this console, if like I said before, if you got this ship specifically, I would recommend running the console. It's a great, even if you're not running, you don't need to run this console with running phase. You can run it with any energy type. So let's that be clear. Um, that turn rate buff is going to be huge, and the fact that like this, like oh my gosh, that's going to be so good. So yeah, this console probably a sleeping beast for sure. Um, so that's the full extent of the ship, the console, the trait, the mastery, all the stats on the ship from the base without any kind of additional buffing or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and break down the full setup of my ship. So I already went over the drivetrain. At least I think it did. I actually can't even remember what I went over. So I'm going to go over everything from the front to the back, all of it. I'm running a Terran base style build. Wait, I did, because I added this live. Wow, I need to remember things. Anywho, devices is going to be the SS Distress Protocol. I didn't feel like trying to use my brain to say the name of it. Was a recent event reward similar to the Kobayashi Maru reward, where you do get a buff from this freighter spawning in. Damage, fire cycle haste, flight speed, turn rate, and it also gives you Uncon. So yeah, Uncon build. Let's go. Also the red matter capacitor, which you can get from the Phoenix box. Like I said before with Phoenix boxes, get 40k dill, buy the 10 stack, have fun with it. Get a few items from there that you would want, like the red matter capacitor. Use the rest for Phoenix upgrade tokens because they are the best upgrade materials in the game, in my opinion. Granted, they don't do as well as the mega particle stuff, but that's a different subject. So the first universal console I'm running is the lithium transporter, which comes off of the the Credence Miracle Worker Dreadnought Cruiser. This is a lockbox ship. Also, in my personal opinion, the best beam build boat ship in the game. But I'm going to clarify again, no such thing as a bad ship. You just got to set it up correctly. Have I done more DPS than other ships in this thing? At times, yes. So use that information with what you will. The next console is the Ordnance Accelerator Mark 15, which I upgraded. This comes from the Gamut Reputation to get the 2-piece bonus with the Omni Beam as well. Like I haven't stated this in any video, but I'm kind of like trying to implement like weapon sets or partial weapon sets in a lot of my builds now, just to add more to it instead of just always doing pure uncon all the time every day. There's a few builds I've been doing that with, and I could actually do that with the Terran one as well, depending if I want to run the console or not, or even just throw the torpedo. Oh, it's projectile open damage. Yeah, never mind. What does that console even do anyway? Oh, there it is. It is actually not bad. Actually not bad at all. Hold on. I might have to add that to this build somewhere. Huh. That's a problem. Oh dear, I know what console I'll get rid of. Sorry, Trailblazer console, you're awesome, but I kind of really want to run that 2-piece. If this was X2'd, I'd put it right there. Next console is the Broadside Combat Module. It comes off the Corolla. I'm also running its trait as well, which is Broadside Beam Support. This is a Zen Store ship. Like I've stated before many times, the Corolla is a 2-for-1. Trait and console is really, really solid. Plus, actually, I flew this ship recently on another character, and I actually forgot that this ship is actually kind of dope. It's a really solid ship. I really should do a video on it, along with Doug Gagarin, and like do like a comparison as well, and then do like a separate video for each. But that's another day. Y'all know I am bad at this. So with this ship, you know, like I said, name of the game with beams is broadsiding. I know I'm running a torpedo, but why not? Name of the game is broadsiding, so when everything's on your broadside arc, not only are you doing more phaser damage because of the trait itself, but you're also, with the console, you're getting a damage buff and damage resistance passively just because of the broadside arc. But then you're also able to, you know, activate its clicky, and then you get this awesome cool effect that just deletes stuff. Name of the game, broadsiding, like I said before. Next console is going to be You Are Dismissed. This is a lockbox console. You do not need to get a ship for it. You can easily get this off the exchange if you have the EC for it, or if you just want to, you can open up the Ethereum lockboxes and hope that one appears. But again, that is up to you if you want to support this game. I will never say no to people doing that. I support this game to the best that I can, which isn't very much. I used to be a whale, not anymore, so I do what I can when, you know, where I can. This console's absolutely a monster of a console. Passively, shield resistance, improved shield regeneration rate, chance for protonic crush, which is basically the same thing that the Omni Beam does. Like, there's a lot for it. Because of how much wording that some of these consoles, I'm not going to explain every little detail on it, but you can pause here and read it if you want. It's clicky, also just does stupid damage, and you know, you get a lot out of this one. Next console is the Fearloid. I don't even want to bother trying. The FHA. I'm just going to go call it that, the FHA. It is the Terran Reputation Universal Console. Increases your maximum hit points by 13%, and I'll get into why the increasing your maximum HP is actually really good for you. Increase your weapons power setting, aux power settings, which I've explained many times. Aux power is so extremely important. And then you also get a minus 0.5 second shared torpedo recharge time, meaning if your torpedoes will be able to fire more frequently, which is absolutely fantastic. You can get a lot of great stuff with reputation. Cannot stress that enough. Rep is very important. Next console is the Crenum Chronophage, aka Crenum Time Bug. It gives you cooldown on Science and Temporal Bridge Officer abilities. Even though that I'm only running 2 Science Bridge Officer abilities, I'm still going to throw this on there just for the clicky alone. Applies a physical DOT aura, turns shields off, and holds targets in specific areas, and also teleports the initial target to like random foes that are close by, and the damage is insane. Y'all can go ahead and read that as well. It's a lot. And this console is actually very easy to acquire. It's actually pretty cheap on the exchange. Like I said it before in another video, last time I looked at it, it was like 1.8, 1.9 mil. I know to a lot of newer players that seems like a lot, but once you really get into it and really see that amount of EC really is not that much, and it's not that hard to acquire. So there's 2 consoles they can just get out of a lockbox or buy off the exchange for not that much, and that's pretty much it for that type of console. I am currently running 3 lockbox ship consoles, but one of them I got off the Zen store because I actually got that from the ship ages ago, but I'll get into that later. Next console comes from an event ship, the Dyson T6 Carrier, which I'll go ahead and show y'all in the Muds Market because it is currently there. And honestly, out of all the Muds Market ships, if you want to go the Oncon route, this is definitely the most important ship you could acquire for sure. If you do not want to go the Oncon route, then I'd recommend something else, but this bad boy, definitely wait for a super sale. 75, 80, 85, 90%. Wait for that. And then get this ship. Pretty much what this console does is it teleports you around. There's a player here, so I'll just show it. So you teleport right in front of your opponent, whatever you're targeting. I currently have a setting that makes it to where I actually don't teleport. It's within the actual settings itself. I actually should probably cover that at some point. So it's clicky. Like I said, it teleports you, but it also gives you temporary hit points, and it gives you a reduction to your universal consoles by 25%. So there's also that as well. And passively, it gives you 30% hull regeneration, which is really, really nice. Helps keeps you alive. Next console comes off of the Obina, which is a lockbox console. It is the antimatter interweave. Passively increases your damage resistance as your health decreases. And also, its clicky is just really, really strong. On this ship, I currently have 4 consoles that constantly rival each other of getting the max 1 hit, which I will talk about towards the end. Out of the consoles I talked about so far, the antimatter interweave and the You Are Dismissed like constantly go back and forth. Next console is the Agony Redistributor. This is another console that literally is like they're like competing on getting the max 1 hit. Passively gives you inertia of 10 and flight speed of 17.1%. This comes off of the Terran Adamant, which is, like I said before, the best Defiant in the game. Another ship that I highly recommend looking into acquiring if you want a really solid console or even just a beast of a ship. Its trade is also really solid too. It summons in wild weasels, which actually draw in attention, which is great. So it can make it to where you're not drawing in all the aggro. So it's really, really good. Its clicky applies a effect where a lot of your damage is being distributed to targets around that target, so your DPS just completely skyrockets. So yeah, definitely keep that one in mind. Next console is Evolve, which the parser is completely blocking because for some reason it doesn't want to just keep it down at the bottom. I don't know why. Anywho, this comes off of the most recent, the summer event chip. So this one works very similar to the Obina console, but instead of it being your hull, it's your shields. As your shields decrease, you gain damage resistance rating. Yes, there is a cap. No, you cannot be 100% immune to damage. Only a few things give you that ability. So, yeah, you can't be 100% immune to damage 100% of the time, or even 99% of the time. It's very not that often. Reading everything on this console would just take forever, so pause it here if you want to read everything, but depending on where you put it on your ship, you gain a buff. The only 2 slots that me personally that I recommend is going to be in the universal slot or the tactical slot. Those are the only 2 that I personally would recommend. Depending on how your build is, if you can't really move around, then I would maybe consider putting it in the engineering slot because it gives you more engine power. Really strong console, which literally changes the game for players who do play for free. So if you happen to join the game recently and miss out on it, I am so sorry. If you were playing the game and you didn't get that ship, like I said in the last video, the only response that I have for you is you fool. Not being rude or trying to insult you, it's just always get a ship when it is free, even if you don't like the design of it. I personally don't like the way it looks either, but the ship itself is amazing. Console literally changes the game completely. The thing is amazing. I love this console. Like, it literally made all my other alt characters better just because of this one console alone. Next console is going to be also this console literally like it's literally You Are Dismissed, the Antimatter Interweave, Agony Redistributor, and Evolve that are rivaling each other for the max 1 hit. It's actually kind of entertaining to see whenever I do a TFO and I see which one was the max 1 hit that time. Next console is going to be the Micro Quantum Torpedo Phalanx Array. I love this console. When you first get into combat, you gain plus 10 max power to your weapons, and you gain an additional 20 weapons power for 30 seconds. So only for 30 seconds do you gain that buff, and then after that it's gone until you get out of combat and re-enter combat. But you do gain another passive buff with this, which is a 17.5% chance to recover the recharge time of all of of all other bridge officer abilities up to their shield cooldown ability, so I'll be able to spam these bad boys right here more frequently because this thing just helps with cooldown. And combining that with a couple of other things, you just get stupid amounts of cooldown. Next console is the Fleet Power Network Array. Oh wait, I didn't even tell you what ship to get that off of. Oh, wow, I'm dumb. Ignore me. And now the name of the ship is literally escaping my mind. Why does my brain work this way? Oh, I know why. Because I am just completely mentally exhausted. There it is, the Achilles Miracle Worker Heavy Destroyer. I love this thing. Honestly, I made the video on it, and I still have yet to actually fly it. Don't judge me. I'm tired. This thing's great, though. Comes off of this ship. So add this to your list of ships to acquire if you want to go like the Hong Kong route, because there's a lot of Zen Store ships that are just really solid. That's one of them. Next one is the Fleet Power Network Array. Passively, +5 max aux power. Again, aux power. The most important. If not the second most important power levels. As you can see, all my power levels in my weapons, and if you watch my videos regularly, you'll notice that it's always this way. Weapons, rest and aux. And then you also gain 24.2% Starship Exotic Particle Generator. There are a few things that I currently am running that does get buffed by that. I just can't remember which ones exactly, so there is that. This is also great to run on science builds as well. It's actually great to run on any build, really. It's clicky, buffs you, your pets, your allies' pets, your allies, gives everything, you and everything around you, direct energy, weapon, fire cycle haste, 50% to 125%, which scales off of auxiliary power, which is one of the reasons why the rest of my power is my aux, because that. And then every 3 seconds, a 60% chance to apply beam overload, cannon rapid fire, or torpedo high yield / salvo 1 to your weapons, which is really nice to have. This comes off of the Awani. Probably the ship that I recommend the most for people to acquire, like #1, because it's trait, it's console, it's pets, like there's just everything is going for this ship. Also, it's one of the best carriers in the game, and it just looks awesome. I mean, my favorite look is the Stargazer. But yeah. Anyway, Awani. Definitely add that to your list if you don't already have it. It is a game changer for you. And then the last console, everyone calls it DPRM, Dynamic Power Redistributor Module. Passively increase your damage resistance rating by 11.3, and it gives you a 90% direct energy weapon buff. Its clicky is where this console shines. Now, this console, I cannot stress enough, is literally the best console in the game. #1. Like, just straight up, for me, it is #1. Because it gives you a damage buff, it gives you damage resistance buff, and it gives you a stupid amount of hull healing. Now, is it the best hull healing console in the game just for hull healing in general? No. There are 2 more that rival it. Both of them come off of event ships that I have played with. I'm sure there are more. I would have to just play with those, though. This console comes off of another lockbox ship, which I do have unlocked through the Zen Store under the Muds Market tab, and it is the TOS Atlas Dreadnought, that one right there, the Federation one, to be more specific. And it's also a really awesome ship too. All 3 of these ships are great. But yeah, the TOS Dreadnought Atlas prototype, whichever name you want to go with. So this is the full breakdown of the ship in terms of what I have on it, and let's move on to the traits. I'm going to go with, should I break down personal traits too? Because this video is already getting really long. Yeah, why not? You are dismissed. I mean, not you are dismissed. My gosh, that's a console. A good day to die. The most important trait on any tactical bridge officer ability. So when you do go out and you want to go on like an EC spending spree to buy personal traits, if you're a tactical character, this is your very first purchase, period. The most important. Gives you the ability to use going down fighting at any point in time. That's literally the only purpose of this trait. Other than that, this trait does nothing. So, but it lets you use this, which gives you damage resistance and a bonus all damage, which is just awesome, and it increases based on how much health you lose, and it is very easily spammable. I'm also running Adaptive Offense, which is another lockbox trait. I remember when this trait first came out, people said, "Ew, it sucks." I'm like, nope, this thing's great, and now literally everyone's using it. It's hilarious. You gain critical chance. Well, you gain 2.7 critical chance and on critical striking. It changes your critical chance to critical severity buff to a maximum 9%, so it literally fluctuates. It's really good. Next trait is Advanced Rapid Support. Reduce career-specific fleet recharge time by 67%. This comes from the Temporal Recruit event. If you find all the probes during missions, you get this version of it. If you get like halfway through it, you get like a weaker version. It's a great trait to have, and it's free. You just have to wait for them to do another Temporal Recruit, which is the most important recruit event in the game, in my personal opinion, because it does a lot for you. Next one is All Aspects Accounted For. It comes from the Ethereum lockbox. It gives you beam damage plus 100% protonic crush, so more proton damage, and that's a lot to read, so y'all can pause it and read what it exactly does. It's a great trait to run if you want to get more numbers for your DPS. So I run this one over Ethereum Beam Enhancement. It's way better, in my personal opinion, versus the two. But even with that being said, this one's still great to run. But I'm running all aspects accounted for. The next personal trait is Brain Shield Tunneling. Pretty much the basis of this is you gain shield and armor pen by 50% for your weapons. All weapons. Doesn't matter what it is. So you can run this on torp builds, you can run this on beam builds, cannon builds, doesn't matter. Run this. Even in science builds, you can run this. This thing is amazing. Another great trait to keep your eyes on, because it gives you straight 15% pen passively without needing to do anything. Great trait. Next trait is Fireball Escape. Another very important personal trait to acquire. Definitely up there. I would say this is probably, in my personal opinion, number 4 of importance. That's how important this trait is, because it gives you immunity to kinetic damage, aka Warp Core Breaches. That's what it literally gives you immunity to. Kinetic damage from Warp Core Breaches. And then it also gives you a flight speed, turn rate buff, along with a defensive rating for 8 seconds, and you gain a critical severity buff by 30 seconds, and that's a 25%, not 25, sorry, a 20% buff, which is huge. So yeah, definitely number 4 for me in terms of importance as playing as a tactical character. If I'm playing a different one, then this probably is number 3. But yeah, very important, solid trait to be running. Next trait is Fragment of AI Tech. The higher your control expertise is, the more energy weapon damage buff that you get, and you also just gain a flat 50 control expertise passively, which buffs this anyway. Great trait to run whether you're running a science build, or even a great trait to run whether you're running a energy weapon build. It's also a great trait to run if you're running a hybrid of science and energy weapons, because control affects gradual, which pulls things in, and so on. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for this one. Great trait to run. Next trait I'm running is Intelligence Agent Attaché, which every single time my weapons hit it, a critical strike, my captain abilities gain a 2% weapon recharge ability. I crit a lot, so this goes off every time from the cooldown every time. Definitely, like, honestly, that's a trait that I highly support and I highly recommend. That's another, like, pretty much everything so far has all been lockbox that I've talked about. This right here is the first trait that I am mentioning that is not lockbox. This is Lobby. 17.5% chance to recover and recharge time of all bridge officer abilities up to their shared cooldown categories. Wait a minute, don't I already have a console that does that? Yes, I do, so I'm running them both, and guess what? It's great. Great cooldown capability. Is it still the best cooldown reduction in the game? Technically, no. There are better builds out there for cooldown if that's what you're aiming for, but if you're doing what I am doing, this is the best setup for sure. Next console is the second. This is the second. The Bormafrek is the second most important trait in the game. As a tactical, if you're not a tactical, this is number 1. Now, if you're going unconventional systems as a tactical, this is your third. If you're doing an uncon build, which is universal consoles everywhere all day, this is going to be your third most important trait in the game. For the other captains, it is your second most important trait in the game, because this gives you the ability to utilize your universal consoles more frequently, and it's not 7% recharge time of what the current cooldown is. It is 7% of its max cooldown. So no matter what, if your universal console is 2 minutes and it's like 30 seconds left, it's still 7% of the 2 minutes. So yes, this trait is huge for your build if you're doing an on-con build. If you're not, don't even worry about this don't even worry about this trait. It won't even be like anywhere. It's not even important to you if you're not doing on-con. If you're not doing like a build like this. So don't worry about it if you're not doing that route. And then the last trait, which is also up there in terms of importance, I would say this one is right behind Fireball Escape at number 5, just because of what it does, and that is, if damage while below 25% hull, you receive 57,004 hit points and plus 500 shield regeneration for each shield facing. A great, basically a oh crap button, I'm about to die, without you having to actually click it. It's such a good personal trait, and I literally run this on every single one of my builds, just because of what it does. Now, this is the excluding Fireball Escape, this is literally the only personal trait. Well, Fireball Escape and a whole lot of X's are the only 2 traits that I run for staying alive, for personal traits, because they're just fantastic. One makes me in the Warp Core breaches, and one just is a oh crap button without me having to actually click it. So good. Now, onward to the personal traits. I mean, not personal traits, the starship traits, just like I said before. Broadside beam support comes with the Corolla. I already showed that ship earlier. Trait. During beam fire at will, a beam will load at a random target within 5 kilometers on your left or right. You broadside, like, you just do extra phaser damage. It doesn't, like, you don't need to do a phaser build to use this. I use this on literally every single beam build I'm running this trait. It's just so good. Like I said, the Corolla is a 2-for-1 special, because it's a trait and console. Next trait is Cultured Conquest. Now, this comes off of a lockbox ship, which is the World Razor. Why is it asking me to save? I didn't change anything. That bad boy right there. The World Razor, Temporal Juggernaut. If you end up getting it from the lockbox, just to let you know, this thing is a beast. Dealing weapon damage to foes that have debuff, DOT, or control effects improves the damage to plus 50% and removes one such effect from you. So if you have a debuff, it's gone. And then when applying weapon fire modes, apply 25% increased damage for 15 seconds. Some people say that it stacks. So if it does stack, and if it is true from what they say that it stacks, that's 25% per weapon that you activate. So yeah, beam fire at will, cannon rapid fire, torp spread. So that's 3. Yep, right there. It stacks. That's 75%, baby. How could you say no to that? It's so good. Probably, honestly, this trait buffs you the most in terms of just increased damage in general. It's 75% buff. It is so strong. A lot of people also just really want the World Razor because it's the World Razor. One of the greatest ships ever created, because it's a galaxy that, forgive my French, is a galaxy that fucks. It's so strong. I try not to swear because I'm not much of a swearing person, but it does. It's so good. Next trait is Redirecting Arrays. This comes off of the Tactical Miracle Worker ship. For the Fed side, it's the Tucker class. The Klingon variant also has it, and the Romulan variant also has it, but it has to be the tactical one. But luckily it does say tactical. For the Fed side, anyway. You'll know that it's the tactical one because it has 4 tactical consoles, 4 engineering consoles, 3 science. Since they're miracle workers, they all get the extra console slot, but the redirecting arrays is basically what the green free fire trait does, but you have to be getting hit in order for it to really go off. Once per second while beam fire at will is active, receiving any damage grants 0.33 seconds duration to beam fire at will, a total of 15 seconds. I basically run this trait on every single character that I do a beam fire at will build on because of the fact that I don't have the green free fire trait. But alas, it's the only thing that I got, minus entwined tactical matrices, but that's something completely different. We're not going to go over that since it's not running in my build, even though I could easily run entwined, actually. I just might do that. No, because of Cultured Conquest, it's better if I run redirecting arrays. So, not going to discuss that. Onward to the next trait. The next trait is Universal Designs. When activating a Universal Console, which is one of the reasons why Uncon builds are amongst the best, you gain 2% critical chance and 10% critical severity, which stacks up to 5 times. So a total of 10% critical chance and 50% critical severity. And it lasts 20 seconds. With a proper Uncon build, this is up at stacks of 5, 100% of the duration of combat. Literally, it's this personal trait, this starship trait that made Uncon build supreme. Like, I'm not even joking, this is when it started. And I do own this from the Muds Market, so I do own it account-wide. And it comes off of the Crossfield Science Spearhead refit. This is the only way to acquire this trait. I'm going to say it again. This is the only way to acquire this trait. You cannot get it with the Legendary Glen, because the Legendary Glen came out prior to that ship's release. Hence why you only have the Mirror trait and the actual Crossfield trait. So in order to get this ship, you either have to get the Muds Market bundle, which I still think Muds Market bundles are worth it, or get the promo ship. If you have the Muds Market bundle, then you have that account unlocked and you can let it put on every single one of your characters. But it comes off of this ship, and that's how you get it. Next trait is going to be a much stronger version of Universal Designs. It is called Particle Fluctuation Analysis. This comes off of a Zen ship that is a lot easier to acquire, even though it comes off of a bundle, because again, legendary, you can only get legendary ships from bundles, and that's it. So wait for a super sale, but it comes off of the Legendary Nebula, which I love the Nebula. My favorite Federation science ship. I don't know why I just love the Nebula so much. I just do. And this model, to be specific, I don't know why, but I do. This ship. Anyway, this trait does the same thing. But instead of it just giving you critical chance and critical severity, that stacks up to 10 times. So 10%, 100%. 10% critical chance, so the same as Universal Designs, but 100% critical severity, which is 50% more than Universal Designs. It also gives you critical healing chance and critical severity, healing critical severity. So +2 current and max aux power. Y'all know how much I love that aux power. It's so important. And it gives you the ability to detect cloak ships more, but no one really cares about that. It's kind of useless. But yes, this is a much better version of Universal Designs. The only another difference between the two is this lasts 10 seconds instead of it lasting 20, 10 stacks instead of 5. Also, this applies to your team. So your team also gets this buff, and if your team members are also running this trait, it's a lot easier to keep those stacks flowing. So yeah, it comes from the Legendary Nebula, which comes from the Last Stand bundle. This one right here comes with other ships as well, but this is how you get it. And you also get access to every version of the Nebula that has ever existed in a game, because this is the latest version of the Nebula, so you can kit bash it like crazy. So yeah, there's that. And then the last trait that I'm currently running on the ship, because I do not have it X2, is Hellbore Light. Such a great trait. Now, remember, in order for this trait to go off, y'all can pause it and read what it does, but in order for this trait to go off, I'll at least cover that. You have to run Beam Overload or Cannon Rapid Fire, which is why I run Cannon Rapid Fire on my builds. Now, there was a guy in my comments that was complaining that I wasn't using Beam Firewall 3, but again, like Cannon Rapid Fire and Attack Pattern Beta are way more important to me because of how my build is set up. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Beta is very important because of the dude officers that I'm running. But whenever you activate Cannon Rapid Fire or Beam Overload, you basically just get a whole lot of nonsense that goes on. It's great. Great trait. This trait comes off of the Warden. This bad boy right here. It's actually a good ship. I really enjoy it. There it is. Hellbore Light. So yeah, this is another ship that I recommend adding to your list of Zen Store ships if you do not have it already. So there you go, the Warden. And that's it for this build as of right now. Like I said, I don't have it X2'd. If I did have it X2'd, yes, I do have a few other traits that I would run. Primarily History will Remember. I love this trait. Comes off of the Ambassador class T6 legendary and non-legendary version, and the Vorcha legendary and non-legendary version as well. So there's 4 ways to get it. But if you get the legendary, the 11th anniversary bundle, you get the legendary Nebula and legendary Vorcha anyway. But yeah, this one right here, top tier trait for sure. Love this trait. But since it's not on my build, I'm not gonna go over it. You could, if you wanted to, you could pause it and read what it does. Now onward to the space reputation traits. I'm not really going to go over the activation ones because that's really player preference. I am running increased critical severity, which is advanced targeting systems. Next one is auxiliary power configuration, which boosts my all damage and accuracy rating based on my aux power. So the more aux I have, the more this goes off. And since I'm running something that buffs my aux even more, oh boy, yeah, you can. Aux is great. The next one is energy refrequencer, which basically gives me 9.4% of my outgoing damage as healing. Great ability that gives you lifesteal, that keeps you alive. Probably my favorite. Next one is precision, which is a 5% critical chance, so more critical chance ability. And the last one is Tyler's duality. Based on your hull capacity, you gain a certain amount of critical chance. I'm currently at 4.8. So again, something that I mentioned here gives me increased hull capacity, which I think was this one. Was it this one? It was this one. So everything is connected when it comes to your build. The traits connect to other traits, that connect to consoles, that connect to your weapons, that connect to, like, everything connects to everything. And there's reasons why you run certain things on other things, because everything is connected. So everything is buffing everything. It's great. And so that's every single personal trait, every single starship trait, and every single space reputation trait. As for the stations, I am running 3 intel abilities, 2 miracle worker abilities. 2 of my intel abilities are proc on con. My 2 engineering abilities, my 2 engineering, my 2 miracle worker, and my 2 science also proc on con. So I'm running 8 on con procs. I could make it 9 by switching this out, and I actually could make it 10 by switching this out, but I'm not going to. Remember, the sweet spot that I have talked about before is anywhere between 7 to 9. The reason why I'm sticking with 8 is because I really want to play with Override Subsystems 3, because I used to run this all the time back in the day. It increases my max and current all power levels from 0 to 50, anywhere between 0 to 50. But it does have a caveat to it. Keep in mind, when the power bonus ends, one random subsystem is offline for 5 seconds. So keep that in mind. It is a double-edged sword. I normally do not run this because of that very specific reason. It can get you killed. But the top builds, if they have an Intel seat, run it. But y'all know I'm not a huge fan of min-maxing. But I thought I would play with it. So there is that as well. Everything else is pretty standard. For me, Beta 2, Cannon Rapid Fire 1, Beam Fire at Will 1, Torp Spreader 1. Yes, I could easily grab Beam Fire at Will 3 instead, but Beta, like I said, Beta and Cannon Rapid Fire are more important than what level of Beam Fire at Will that I have. And I'd much rather run Attack Pattern Beta 2 over Cannon Rapid Fire 2 because I'm not really getting anything out of Cannon Rapid Fire minus the Hellbore proc. Now on to my duty officers, because there's a lot when it comes to your builds. Even what bridge officers you run because of their passives also plays a huge factor, but I'm not really going to get into that. I'm running Del Rey because it buffs attack pattern beta even more than what it already does. Don't know why it shows the Omega sign, but it reduces recharge time for attack pattern beta by 15%. And then while under the effect of attack pattern beta, each weapon fired has a 50% chance to restore 0.2% of your max haul, 20% chance activating beam fire at will 1 with attack pattern beta, 20% chance to activate beam fire at will 1 with attack pattern beta. Once per. So this guy's so strong. And then I'm also running Agent Enroll, which also will while attack pattern beta is active, each weapon restores 0.2% of your max haul. So I'm running 2 guys that give me lifesteal with attack pattern beta. And then when you combine it, again, like everything is connected. When you combine it with Energy Refrequencer, that's more lifesteal with your damage. Now, granted, both of these apply to your weapons, and I'm pretty sure this applies to literally everything that comes off of your ship that does damage. So there's that as well. So everything is connected. And then with all that being connected, I'm also going to skip 2747, go straight to this guy, because this guy, whenever you activate Beam Fire at Will 1, you have a 25% chance to trigger Beam Fire at Will 2. If you activate Beam Fire at Will 2, you have a 25% chance to trigger Beam Fire at Will 3. And it applies to Beam Overload, it applies to Cannon Rapid Fire, it applies to Cannon Scatter Volley. This die right here is the main reason why it doesn't matter if I run Beam Fire at Will 1 or not. Because this guy has a chance to give me the next level of it. Now, could I easily run Beam Fire at Will 2 and just do it that way? Well, of course, but again, Cannon Rapid Fire is more important, and I'd really like the Uncon proc. So I'm sitting at 8 because that's the middle, and that's where I like it. Now, onward to 2747, probably the strongest duty officer in the game. And for me, the second most important duty officer in the game if I'm running an Intel build. This guy is always number 1 for me. Every single time you activate a tactical bridge officer ability, which I'm currently running 4, 50% chance to improve critical severity by 20% for 30 seconds. And then every single time I activate an Intel ability, which I'm running 3, a 30% chance to improve critical chance by 2.5%. Someone did like numbers with this guy, and like his DPS like increased by 300k just from him alone. So use that information on what you will. Keep in mind this guy costs as much as a lockbox / promo ship. And the chances of you getting one is insanely low because there's literally almost 47 of them. I think someone did the math and there's only like 45, I think. Or something like that, or they actually counted them all. There's only like 45. I could be wrong. And it's all like lore based because 2 of them are technically dead. But yeah, so this guy, very, very strong. Next one basically does something very similar, but instead of it giving me critical chance with Intel, it is weapon armor penetration by 50. Great combination. This is 22 of 47. And then the last one is air's cooldown base, so engineering 50% chance to reduce my Intel bridge officer ability by 50%, and then for Intel it's a 30% chance to reduce my engineering cooldown by 50%. So there's that. Now keep in mind you still have max cooldown, and I'm already running a console that boosts my cooldown by 17.5% chance by 17.5%. chance. And then, of course, the Boimler effect, which is another 15.5% chance. There is a max cooldown that you can achieve, so if you go too much cooldown, you're literally going to hurt yourself, so keep that in mind. So this is literally the full breakdown of my Inquiry Battlecruiser. Full breakdown. All the traits, duty officers, what bridge officer abilities I'm running, what equipment I'm running, everything. Now, this video is already 55 minutes long. This is one of the reasons why I don't like doing a full breakdown of it, but again, until y'all tell me to stop, it's going to be very common, so I'm sorry. But let's go ahead and make it even longer. We're going to go ahead and do a hive. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording until we actually get a hive, because it's already long enough. Already recording for 55 minutes, so yeah. I'll see y'all when the queue drops, if it ever drops, because it's currently 2:45 in the morning. Oh boy. Alrighty, and here we are with the hive run. Alright. My parse is running, but just in case, gonna turn it back on again, just in case. So let's go ahead and see. Normally, whenever I fly the legendary Inquiry, the legendary battlecruiser, it feels like I'm not doing what I should be doing. But then again, I haven't flown it in a hot minute. Okay, so I don't have emergency powered engines, so we're just gonna ball. Alright, always target this cube, and boom, boom. I know it's hard to see like what's going on. I never can tell what I'm doing. And I can't see because of the bar cube. Trying my best. Oh, I'm gonna die. I am so gonna die. Yep, there it is. I know, at one point my DPS was at 2 mil. So even though I'm running those consoles that boost my damage resistance so high, it's still not enough to... Like, you can't gain 100% damage resistance all the time. There are things that can help you do that, but, like, you can't have it 100% of the time. Alrighty, now... Slowly making my way to over here so then I can flank Queen. Oh my gosh, there we go. Now the biggest problem that I'm gonna have is I have nothing to like stop feedback pulse from killing me. And there we go, 992k. That's actually pretty dang good, I am not gonna lie. Let's go ahead and refresh the full thing. Now, I can easily, I could break a mil with this. I'm not gonna say easily, but I could. I mean, I took in 2.2 million damage, so yeah, no wonder I died. Max one hit is 1 mil with you are dismissed. Like I said, let's go ahead and see. Like there's where tactical burst 100 to 500k, but as you can see, like a lot, like even the micro quantum torps did 667k. There's a lot to it. Someone's type 7s definitely gave me a boost. Full broadside, not surprised there. Elbow late, no surprise there. Delay flames weaponry, no surprise there. Board cube, yep. The reason why I run another good reason why I'm running Hellbore Light is because other people will actually give you DPS. Technically a nannying, which I'm not a huge fan of, but let's see here. Phaser, Beamfire at Will 1, 47k, and Beamfire at Will 2, 21k. Now, there are definitely other setups that I have that really make these stick out way more. Like my Polaron build, my Anti-Proton build. Like, there's a lot. But, I mean, here you go. Full breakdown of the promo inquiry class. Yes, I could definitely do other combinations to really min-max this thing to make it really explode, just like the legendary variant. Now, which one's better? Well, they're both the same. You can literally do the same build on both. So, anyway, this video is already an hour long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. Thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!